Okay, so let's start today. So the last session, we discussed about just we have seen a small setup, how to install ESXi on our device, and we also discussed like if you want to install ESXi on a machine, what is the requirement, a processor, RAM, hard disk. Okay, we have done all the prerequisites. Okay, now from today we are going to set up all our vSphere environment. Okay, so step by step, I'm going to show you this. So one more time, let me show you the lab, means our practical, like what we are going to do. So we are going to install Active Directory on one machine today, and the machine where I'm going to install AD. So I try to give IP address 192.168.57.60, and yesterday we already installed ESXi. Okay, so today we are going to install one more ESXi, and we can install one more ESXi. Okay, so yesterday just we have done only installation part, but today we are going to see even how to configure ESXi, means after the installation. Now whatever the screen you get, what actually we call that screen, and how to configure the ESXi and how to interact with that ESXi. And apart from that, if the time comes, we'll try to see some kind of management. Okay, so let's start from our DC. So yesterday what I did, I already installed one virtual machine. So this machine I'll be having 2016 server, and I have not installed AD. Okay, and when you make virtual machine, at the time of creating virtual machine, it will ask you to give a password. So at that time, whatever password you have given, you can use the same password. So to use full screen your machine, you can press Alt Control Enter, so that you can get a complete screen of your machine. So this is your administrator. I'll put a password and log in. So to install AD, again first we try to configure IP address. Directly I open the network connection, properties. So the IP according to our requirement, 192.168.57. The IP will be like 50. Subnet mask, and suppose if you have a router in your network, you can also mention the router IP. Okay. So right now we don't have any router IP here. I mean, like here I'm not using any router. Now regarding DNS, as I told you, we have to use the same whatever IP you give on the machine. So this machine is not only my domain controller, this also my DNS server. Okay. So whatever IP you give here, same you have to mention as DNS. So if you don't give DNS, that means you cannot make your domain, and DNS is one of the mandatory service of your domain. Okay, like the way you have the Active Directory, same we need to have DNS. So just configure IP address. Okay. And to install Active Directory, what we need to do? Okay, see this thing you have already done in your MCSC part. So I'm not going in detail. Okay, why? Because this is not our practical part. Okay. So here I'm going to click add roles and features. Next. So if you go with MCSC, in detail, we have a topic of all this, like how to select and what is role based and feature based and what are the options are available. Okay. So this will be in your MCSC part. So the machine where I'm installing Active Directory, the name yesterday I have given DC1, and just now like I have given IP address 192.168.57.60, and this is our 2016 data center edition. No problem. You can go with next, and here we'll try to put check mark to Active Directory domain services. Just put a check mark. So whenever you try to install any roles in your server, automatically it also requires some features. Okay, so you can go add features. So what actually it will do? So from feature, it is going to select whatever it requires. Okay, so you can go with the next and install your Active Directory. Okay, so this is only Active Directory domain services installation. Then after that, we have to make this machine as a domain controller. We need to promote that. Now the installation done. So we click promote this server to domain controller. Okay. So we are making new forest, and the make forest name name online yes, you can make store.com. So you can put any domain name. So we'll give our remote password. So the name of our domain, Wipro. So the database of your AD is maintained on the C drive, and for me everything is okay. So now it will check prerequisites. So if you don't log in as administrator, if you don't give IP address and all these things, so it will not promote you. Okay, so here we click install. So this is our first step. You have to install Active Directory, one of the device. Okay, so come to our scenario. So the first step is we have to install Active Directory on one device. So the machine where I install Active Directory, we have given this one of IP. Okay. And yesterday, like we already installed one of the machine as ESXi 1, and today we are going to install two more ESXi so that we can able to do some kind of configuration here. Okay, so let me do that. So one more time, I'll go here, and if you see, so we already have one ESXi. I can power on this one. Now to install one more, you can go home, and from here you can say create new virtual machine. Next, so we'll be installing our ESXi, that is VMware. The name of this ESXi I'll be giving ESXi2, and this file I'm going to keep inside my 4 TB hard disk, and in that 4 TB I have already VMware. In VMware we have already like VMware 9PM. So we configure DC, and on that we also have a file of ESXi1. So here I make another folder. So ESXi2. Next, and whatever the space you give, it will automatically come default. And for me, I'm not taking 4 GB. Instead of 4, I'll take 8 GB. Next, and finish. Now, so whenever you are installing any ESXi, always it welcomes you. So you can press enter, F11 to accept all the license agreements. Enter, and you can put a password. And press F11 to install. And one more thing, yesterday I told you like you get a warning here, like these days will repartition. Okay, so as I told you, in your server, suppose you have a hard disk of 1 terabyte, and if you already created maybe 1, 2, 3 partition, so doesn't matter like what were the partitions which are already created. So those partitions it is going to delete, and it is going to repartition only as a one single partition. Okay. So make sure if you have a very important data, remove and you can take a backup of that. So here I press F11, then it is going to install one more ESXi. Okay. So that means now we have two ESXi. Okay. Just we have done the installation part. I need one more. So again, one more time, I'll come home. I create a new virtual machine. So if you work on a real time, that means you just have to connect your pen drive, bootable pen drive of your ESXi. And with that ESXi pen drive, you have to install that ESXi version. So we have now ESXi 3. I go browse and I'll keep the file on my 4 TB hard disk, VMware ESXi 3. I can say okay, next 40 GB. And for this ESXi also I require 8 GB. See, for all my ESXi I'm taking 8, but when you do practice from your side, you can take only 4 GB also, no problem. So the installation is very simple. So if you install 2-3 times, now automatically you can do from your side. Now you can press enter for continue, F11 for accept the license. That is your hard disk now. Enter. Password. So F11 for the installation. See, once the installation is done, you'll be getting this screen. So here is saying ESXi 6.7 has successfully installed. Okay. So you need to reboot this server to start using ESXi 6.7. Okay. So after the installation, okay. So whenever if you want to perform your task, okay. So you have to reboot this. So press enter, it is going to reboot. Now, so yesterday what we have done, so we have done the installation. So after the installation, like you get this screen, okay. So what is this screen? This is your first screen. Like if you go to server room or if you go data center room. So if you are physically sitting on ESXi, that means when you see the output of ESXi, so you'll be getting this output. Okay. So the name of this screen, we call it as, what is this name? Anybody know the name of this screen? The screen which you see, this one. So what is the name of this screen? So from VMware, so VMware has given name of this screen. That screen we call DCUI. Okay, so that means direct console user interface. Okay, so that means, so you may have a server room. Inside the server room you have a rack. In that rack you may have multiple servers, and each and every server, like you have one ESXi here. Okay, so that means like if you physically went to a server room and if you see the physical screen, means physical output, so it will show like this. Okay, so and only one time we go and we are going to do some kind of configuration, and rest of the time everything we are going to do remotely, means either from your laptop or either from your network. Okay, so only one time, like we have to come here to do some kind of configuration. Okay, even suppose if you have already idea about IP address, means if you have DHCP configured in your network, so whatever IP given to this ESXi, with this IP also I can connect remotely and I can do all my administration. That is also possible, but at least one time you have to come here and you have to do some kind of basic configuration. Okay, so the name is then the name of the screen we call DCUI, Direct Console User Interface. So as I told you, so when you come to this screen, so here it will try to show you like what version you are running and what is the name of your processor and how much processors are available, how much RAM, what is the processor speed, what is the processor name, everything it is going to show. Even it try to show you like the IP address. Okay, so with this we can able to manage. Okay, now apart from that, we also have some of the options here. So one of the option he's saying like you can press F2 from your keyboard. See, there is no use of mouse here. Okay, when you physically sit on your computer, that means here there is no use of mouse. Everything you have to do by keyboard. So you can press F2 and you can log in. Then you can do some kind of customization. Means you can change IP, you can put the name, you can able to do some kind of enable or disable. Okay, and if you want to restart or shut down, we have a separate option here. You can press F12 from your keyboard. Either you can shut down your ESXi or you can able to restart. That means physically we are doing this. So let me press F2, and here, at the time of installing ESXi, we have given one. We already created one account, that is name of account is root, and use your password. And this is some of the options. Okay, so the first option here we have configure password. With this option, we are going to set a password. Let's say like when I install ESXi, maybe I have given one password, but I don't like. I want to have a new password. Okay, so that password you can use here. The next option we have, very, very important, where you can do all the time the configuration. So the most important option is network management. See, configure management network. So when you click, first of all, it will try to show you some brief introduction. What is the name of this ESXi? Right now, there is no name. The default name is localhost. We are going to provide this name. What is the IP? So this IP is actually given by DHCP. So we are going to change this IP and we configure IP address according to our requirement. And this is IPv6 address. Okay. So what I'm going to do? So here I have to press enter. Then automatically it will take you to the network configuration screen. So according to the scenario, you have to configure IP. So here it will try to show you network adapters. Okay, network adapter means here we are talking about a physical LAN card. This is your ESXi on ESXi, how many physical LAN cards are available? You know about LAN card, NIC card? Right. So that means we are talking about the physical NIC card which is available internally on that particular device. Okay. Let's say you have your computer. By default, we have one NIC card. Okay, that is on your CPU. Similarly, when you talk about server, you may have maybe two NIC card. You may have four NIC card. You can also have 8 NIC card. Okay, so maybe coming classes I'll show you like how much we can connect and how many NIC card you can have in server. So if you want to know like the ESXi where you are sitting, how many physical NIC cards are available. So that information you can see here. So the name of the NIC card is VMNIC 0. If you have two NIC cards, VMNIC 1. If you have one more NIC card, VMNIC 2, VMNIC 3. Like that, it is going to show you multiple NIC cards here. So NIC card is nothing but we are talking about the Ethernet. Okay. Now, one of the options we also have here, VLAN. And VLAN, as if you start your Cisco, in Cisco, you may also, you may get some information about the, what you can say, subnetting. Okay. And based on the subnetting, what we can do, we can able to do some kind of configuration in switches. Okay. In switches, we can able to do some kind of VLAN configuration. Okay. So we don't have right now the VLAN option here. So the next option we have IPv4 configuration or IPv6. Okay. So what kind of IP you want to assign to this ESXi? You can use IPv4 or as well as you can use IPv6. Okay. But normally when you talk about a local network, maximum 100% we use IPv4. IPv6 is just only an option, but if you want, you can use it. Okay. So that is based on the requirement, but we are going with the IPv4. So just select your IPv4 configuration and press enter. And here you can see, as I told you. So IP address we can use based on static or dynamic. Okay. So right now the default option which is available here, use dynamic IP address. And from your network, if you have a DHCP, automatically it is pick up one IP address. See, this is given by DHCP server. Okay, but I don't want to use a dynamic IP. The problem in dynamic IP, it may be changed. Okay, maybe after a period of time, DHCP maybe can give different IP. So sometimes if your if your ESXi IP change, again a lot of changes you have to make on different times. So instead of using a dynamic IP, most of the time you have to go with a static IP. Okay, and according to your scenario, you have to use your IP. See, don't give IP whatever I'm giving. First, make your scenario. Okay. So this is my ESXi 1, and here I'll be giving IP address according to my network scenario. So the IP which I'm going to use here, 192.168.57.61. Second ESXi maybe we give 192.168.57.62, 57.63, like this we use it. I just go there, and here I use, so 192.168.57.61. This is my first ESXi. Go here, 57.61. Okay. Now the next option we have subnet mask. Okay. If the IP is default, if you're not, if your IP is not subnetted, now we can go with the default subnet mask. But in case if you already have some kind of subnetting concept based on your network, you need based on the subnet, you need to use your subnet mask. Okay. But I go with the default only. And one of the options we also have here, a router IP. So you can use a router according to requirement. Okay. And the main purpose of router is, now if 192.168.57 network want to communicate to any other network, then if you already configure some routing, so your request will go to the router, and from that router, the request can be forwarded to destination. Okay. So whatever the router IP you have, you can mention here. So in my case, the router IP which I'm using, 192.168.57.2 is my router IP. Okay. I'll say okay. Then if you want to use IPv6, then you can also go with IPv6 configuration. But I'm not using. Why? Because one address is enough. The next option we also have DNS. Okay. So when you go DNS, so here what we can do, now we can able to give, first of all, what is the address of your DNS. Okay. So my DNS address is not 192.168.57.2. My DNS is 57.60, right? So whatever you have DNS in your network, based on the requirement, you have to mention the DNS address. And now coming to this option like host name, it is asking like what name you want to use for your ESXi. Okay. So whatever the name you want, you can give it. But if you want like this name has to be resolved in your network, then you have to go to your DNS server and you have to make one, you have to make one host record. In that host record, you have to mention the IP of ESXi and the name of your ESXi. Okay. Suppose I'm giving the name of the ESXi is, let me give the name here. So ESXi 1, I can give it. Okay. Okay. DNS suffix. What is your domain name? Wipro.com. Okay. Okay. Now that means like whatever the changes we have done. Okay. So from starting to till end, I have done a lot of changes. Okay. So once you have done all the changes, so here you can see, you can press up and down from your keyboard to select one of the option like press means whatever the selection you have. If you press enter, then it will give you the screen of that particular option. Now, the last option like you can press escape from the keyboard, then you can exit from the screen. So when you try to press escape and before the screen is going to be exit, so here the computer is asking like the configure management network confirm. Like you have made changes to the host management network. Applying these changes may result in a brief network outage or disconnect the remote management software and affect running virtual machine in case IPv6 has enabled or disabled. This will restart your host. Okay. So that means like whatever the changes I have done, I changed the IP. Okay. Even I also changed some kind of host name. So whatever the changes you have done, you want to save these changes or you don't want. If you don't want, you can press no. But if you want, you have to press from the keyboard yes. Means you have to press the shortcut key here, Y. So once you press Y, automatically the changes will take effect. And once the changes done, so now you can see the name of your ESXi is ESXi1. The IP which you have given is 192.168.57.51. Or suppose if you want to do some other configuration, one more time you can go and you can able to configure according to your requirement. Okay. So this is based on the condition, but one-time configuration is enough. Now, the next option we have something called restart management network. Restart means, so here we have the option like a restart management network interface may require to restore networking or to renew a DHCP link. Okay. So what will happen here? So once you say restart, what it will do automatically it will put on dynamic. Like we have already given static. So that is going to be changed to again dynamic. Again, if you already have DHCP, then it is going to pick up one IP. So restarting management network will result in brief. Again, see, so whenever any changes come, again, that is effect on your network. Okay. So if you want, you can do that. The next option we have test management network. Now, most important thing, sometimes we do a lot of configuration. So how we can able to test? Okay, I want to test. Let's say my DNS is there, my domain controller is there, my router is there. So this ESXi is communicating to my DNS server, is communicating to my domain controller, or is it communicating to my router? So whenever if you want to do any test, okay, see normally like if you use Windows and if you want to see communication, we use a command like ping, right? We use ping command so that we can come to know, okay, this computer, the server is communicating to the router, the computer communicating to different machines. So by using ping command, we can see communication. So in ESXi, the ping, we call it as test. Just press enter. And now to whom you want to ping. Okay. So the first option we have here, this is your router IP. This is your DNS, that is your domain controller IP. And as I told you, like we also have something like if you want to know whether the name which you have given ESXI dot local domain. So here what is showing local domain? Why? Because at the time of DNS, I have not configured the name. So let me go there. One more time, I'll go my configure management and I'll go to my DNS. And here, the name of the ESXI is ESXI.1 dot, the name of my domain is wipro.com. You have to press enter, then press save, changes, yes. Okay. Now one more time when I go test, so now it is showing here ESXI1.wipro.com. Okay, but remember, until you make a record of this in your DNS, it is not going to understand. So now when you press enter here, so first my request will go to my router. Okay, from router communication is done. From domain control also I'm getting a reply, but my DNS server is not resolving the host name, that is your ESXI1.wipro.com. Why? Because whenever you join any machine to the domain, DNS automatically maintain the record of your devices. But in case of ESXi, you have to manually maintain some records in DNS. That record we call it as host record. So host record is one of the one of the records in DNS which is going to resolve the name of your device as well as the IP. So it is going to resolve the name to IP information, so which is going to maintain in your DNS server. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll go to my DNS server, that is my domain controller, and here I'll create record. If you are not Windows admin, you have to contact to the Windows admin and you have to ask him, or you have to tell them, okay, you have to make a record for the DNS for ESXi. But if you are the only administrator, that means everything is in your hand. You have to go to the domain controller, that is your DNS server. Okay. To open DNS, we have a command dns mgmt.nsc. This is my DNS server. So right now, if you go to my forward lookup zone, see how many people. I just have only domain control. I don't have even client. So if you start joining the client, so those client information automatically it will maintain. So forward lookup zone, it is going to maintain the information of name to IP. But right now, I don't have any information related to ESXi. So here what we do, we have to make a record. The record we call it as host record. Just make a record here. The first record I'll be creating for my first ESXi server, that is ESXi1. And what is the IP? The IP which I have given for that ESXi is 192.168.57.61. And if you put a check mark here, which is going to update in reverse. So I don't have any reverse lookup zone. So I just say add only. And I can make another record, ESXi2, so that I'm not coming again here. So for second ESXi, I'll be giving IP address 192.168.57.62. I'll say add. One more ESXi record I'll be creating here. So ESXi3, and the IP which I'm going to use 192.168.57.63. Okay. So make sure these three records have to be created here. Done. Okay. So that means whenever request comes to your DNS server, so your DNS server has to be understand ESXi1, ESXi2, ESXi3, and all the IP information here. Okay. So this is your ESXi IP 61, 62, 63. So now one more time, if I go to my ESXi1 and if I try to ping test management, so first it will forward a request to router, okay, and even it will try to forward a request to your domain controller. So for domain control also I'm getting reply, and even when a request went to DNS server, so DNS server also resolving, it is going to understand ESXi1. Okay, why? Because we have already created record. Understand this? Now, the next option we have restore. Restore means suppose some kind of changes you made, but unfortunately you don't know what you have done. Okay, some kind of wrong configuration, then even it's very difficult to change. In that situation, what we can do, we can able to restore default. Okay, so this is this is nothing but network restore option. So restore is nothing but to view various network restore options like full network restore, move management network from misconfiguration. Okay, then in that time you can able to restore that. Okay, some kind of, I have configured the switch. In switch, maybe some kind of wrong policy I implement. In that time, we can able to restore that. The next option we have keyboard configured keyboard layout. So when I install ESXi, we have selected US language. Okay, but some countries like let's say like if you work in France, they like their own language. If you work in Chinese company, they like their own language. Okay, so sometimes if you want to change the language of your keyboard, you can go here and you can select. But see, I'm not advising you to select different language. Don't do this. Okay, and even I don't know, suppose if you select this language later on, how you can go with English. So don't do this, don't try. Okay, so some of the things you have to just understand. Don't even try that. It's very dangerous. The next option we have troubleshooting option. Okay, so maybe in future we are going to see this troubleshooting. Okay, so troubleshooting we can do with the help of certain command. Okay, so to view various troubleshooting mode, this option is going to be enabled. Okay, so here, so we can able to connect ESXi with the help of shell, and we can also connect. If you want to enable this shell, then you have to enable this SSH. Means you can connect to ESXi with the help of putty application. There is an application from the Linux. You have to install that application, and you have to, and you can go there and you can connect. Okay, so if you want to use SSH, then install putty. Okay, like here you have putty. See? Okay, this is putty. This is MTP putty, and maybe I have putty also here. You see this? With this application, with this software, you can able to put, you can use the IP, and you can connect. That is a command line. Okay, you can go here and you can enable for the shell, and you can able to do some kind of configuration. Now, view log. What do you mean by log? If you want to see the log plays very important part role. Okay, see whatever the configuration we are doing, whatever the settings we are doing. If you want to see some kind of log, then you can see here. Okay, you can press 1 here, then you can see lot of logs are available here. Okay. Everything is showing. You have to read it. Okay, I say quit. Yes, you can also export. I quit. Support information. Somewhere if you stuck and if you want to put a license, everything you can do here. But see, the main thing we need to understand here, like if you're sitting physically on your ESXi, the main thing why actually we use DC UI mode to configure management, to check some kind of we can able to use the name, then IP. This is the only reason we come. And if you want to enable SSH, then you can able to we can enable that. Then over the network you can connect. Okay. Now I have another ESXi. So one more time. So I just log in here. Root. Let me give a password. Login. And configure your management network. IPv4, and here I'll be using IP according to our scenario. So 192.168, 57.62, and router default DNS is same. Then I'll go my DNS configuration. For DNS also I'll be using according to my requirement. So my DNS is not 2, my DNS server is 16. And I want to use the name of the ESXI is ESXI-2, and this will be a domain of my repro.com. I'll say OK. So you can press escape. Then it is asking you to save your settings, then save it. And here also, like if you want to test your management, means if you want to know whether your machine is communicating to the router, your DNS, and it is going to resolve. So everything it will show you. Now I have another ESXi. Okay, so we have to restart this. So this is our third ESXi. I press S2, enter, and give your password. So try to configure the network. Configure network management, IPv4. And the IP which we are using here, 192.168.57.53. 7 marks default with is OK. And DNS, I'll be giving my DNS server is 60. And the name of the ESXi, I'll be using ESXi3.wipro.com. You can take it. Yes. So for this also we can able to, we can do the test management. Everything is okay. So this is how we can able to install ESXi, and you can able to configure ESXi, that is from your DC UI mode. Okay. Now let us see. What are the ways of connecting, or we can say configuring ESXi. Okay, let's say suppose You have a ESXi running in your network and you want to connect and you want to do your administration, or if you want to manage that ESXi. Okay. So whatever the ways of connecting ESXi. Okay. So basically, like we have a first method, we can able to connect to ESXi with the help of shell. One of the method we also have SSH. Okay. And both we use command line. One of the method we also have vSphere client. vSphere client. Okay, this is one of the useful methods. And one of the method we have web browser, and that is also called web client method. No, just for the knowledge I'm showing. And we also use vCenter server. Okay. So whenever, see, this is your ESXi, we have already given IP, and this ESXi, suppose I'm sitting on a computer, okay, maybe my laptop. So from here, I'm connecting to ESXi. So what I can do, I can connect with the help of shell or SSH. And one of the applications we use, see, previously we used to have one application from VMware. That application we call vSphere client. Okay, and that was one of the useful application we can say. Okay, so with that application, what I can do, so here just install the application, then you can get a screen where you have to put the name or IP of ESXi. Once you put your the name and password, so by using this application, the complete ESXi configuration comes to you. From here, you can able to do your administration. Okay, so this application support up to 6.0. That means from beginning, if you talk about like VMware 5.0, 5.1, 5.5, even 6.0, we have this application support. Okay, but after that, then when VMware introduced one new version like 6.5, 6.7, even 7.0, so in that time we are not going to use this application. Okay, so today what actually we use, if you want to do your complete management, then you have to use web browser. That is your web client. That means you have to from your computer, you have to open internet browser. It may be Firefox, it may be Chrome or any other application. So by using that browser, you can write the IP or name of ESXi. Then it will give you a page where you have to put the name and password. Then you can connect and you can able to manage. So one more method, you can also manage ESXi with the help of vCenter server. Okay. So today I'm going to show you how we can use vCenter. How we can able to use a web browser so that we can connect and we can able to we can able to perform our task. Okay. So simply what I can do, this is my machine. Simply I can open a browser. And remember, the computer from where you are connecting to ESXi, both the devices should be on the same network. Means you have a ESXi on a data center room and you are sitting in your cabin. Means you have your laptop. So your laptop should have connectivity to that particular ESXi. If there is no connectivity, you cannot able to manage, you cannot even connect. Okay. So to see connectivity, what I can do, now you can write ping. What is the IP of your ESXi? So 192.168.57.61. So when you press enter, my request will go to the ESXi. From that ESXi, I'm getting reply. That means I can able to connect with my browser to that ESXi. Then I can able to manage. So just open a browser and here you can write https:// and you can use IP or you can use the name of ESXi. So 192.168.57.61, that is my first ESXi IP. Okay. So just try to mention here. So https://192.168.57.51. That is your first ESXi. So when you press enter, my request will go to that. And remember, like whenever you try to access any website with HTTPS, you also require a certificate. Okay, so we don't have any certificate. What we can do, you can go advanced and you can say proceed to 192.168.57.61, which is showing unsafe, but you can connect. Okay, so this is your ESXi screen. So here you can put your username, that is your root, and at the time of installing ESXi, whatever the password you have given, you have to mention that. Now you can able to log in. Okay. So that means graphically, by sitting in your machine with the help of a browser, it may be a Chrome or it may be a Firefox. Now I connected to my ESXi. Okay. So once you connect, so what it will do? Now it will try to show you one screen. Okay. So this is for you want to join the VMware customer experience improvement. Okay, no problem. I can join. Means if you get any problem directly, you get a suggestion from the VMware. Okay. So when you connect for the first time ESXi, this is the ESXi screen. So here you can see some information. What is the name of your ESXi, which domain, what version you have, and state. Okay. And from here you can able to create a virtual machine. From here you can shut down, restart. Okay. Now you can have the second option, that is your management. Okay. Management means manage. From here you can able to configure your you can able to create some kind of configuration. You can put your licensing. Okay. From here you can have your packages, services. Okay. And from here you can have some kind of dedication. Okay. So that means you can do some of the things here. So when you go host, everything it will show you here, like how much RAM you have in your ESXi, what is the processor speed, how much utilization is done, okay, and what IP you have given, the motherboard, CPU, everything. What is the name of your ESXi, okay? So whether your machine is going to support vMotion, HA, everything. See this? Okay. So that means our complete VMware we are going to talk about this. Okay. We try to see like what is storage, what is VMware means, how we can able to make a virtual machine, how we can able to configure the networking. So that means, so whatever the practical we are going to see in our VMware, so everything we can do with the help of this browser. Okay. So we connected the first ESXi. Same thing I can connect another ESXi. Same thing I can connect one more ESXi. Okay. So connecting multiple ESXi means it's not very easy for administration. Okay. So in that case, what actually we can do now, as an administrator, we are going to use one application. That application we call it as vCenter application, or we can say vCenter appliance. Okay. With that, we are going to manage multiple ESXi from a central point. Okay. So maybe tomorrow we are going to see the next very important concept, like what is vCenter, how to install, how to configure, and how to use. And by using that vCenter, how we are going to manage multiple ESXi from a central point. Okay. So today we have done the basic introduction. Even see the main thing what we have done today, we have configured our lab. Means we set up according to our whatever the scenario we have done. Based on the scenario what we have done, we configure our first domain controller. We configure ESXi 1, ESXi 2, ESXi 3. Not only we install these ESXi, even we have also configured IP addresses. And with this IP, we can like if you are sitting on your computer, from your computer we connect and we can able to manage these ESXi. Okay. So in tomorrow class, we are going to see what is vCenter and how we are going to install, and with this vCenter, how we are going to connect to the, how we make our virtualization scenario. That is our main part. So if you have any question, you can ask me.